Hello and welcome everyone to Amigos IAS. I am Adnan. In today's segment, we'll be discussing no confidence motion. This is in news because the 26-party alliance India has initiated a proposal of no confidence in the Lok Sabha. So in this backdrop, let us try to understand what is no confidence motion and what is the procedure to pass this no confidence motion and also the past precedents of this particular motion. So firstly, what is the definition of no confidence motion? So no confidence motion is actually a proposal which is submitted by the member of Lok Sabha against the government. Okay, so that means only in Lok Sabha this is permitted, which is the People's House. So under what procedure, under what rule? Because both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha have their own rules of procedure and conduct of the business. So as per Rule 198 of the Lok Sabha, this particular no confidence motion is passed. So a question comes here. Is there any mention of no confidence in the Constitution of India? No. Then how do we get this particular concept? We must always understand that India follows parliamentary type of democracy, which is of course borrowed from the British traditions. And in parliamentary type of democracy, the most important point is the collective responsibility of the executive. That means here is the Council of Ministers. That means executive being responsible to legislature is the heart of the parliamentary type of government, and India also follows the same. So collective responsibility here means the Council of Ministers who are a part of the executive are answerable to the People's House, which is the Lok Sabha. And how it is ensured here, that means they should enjoy the confidence of the House, and that will come only when they are in the majority. So parliamentary democracy, government can be in power as long as it has majority in the People's House. And under what article actually it is mentioned in the Constitution is 75 clause 3. In 75 clause 3, the mention is given regarding the collective responsibility of the Council of Ministers. So there is no mention of the word confidence or no confidence. It is coming because of the conventions to the parliamentary democracy as it happens in Britain. Fine. So next segment is what is the procedure to pass this? Generally what happens is any MP can write to the Secretary General of Lok Sabha in very short and simple way that we want you to initiate this proposal of motion of no confidence because we have lost confidence in the government. Now very important point here, the reason for no confidence motion need not be stated in the proposal. That means the reasons for adoption of this particular no confidence motion are not required. So we have to differentiate no confidence motion with censure motion. So when we talk about censure motion here, it is usually passed against one minister or group of ministers or all council of ministers. But no confidence motion is passed against all council of ministers because the concept of collective responsibility comes in no confidence motion. In censure motion, when you are not happy with any government proposal or any particular minister, you are going to pass this motion. And here you will usually state the reasons for adoption of this motion. And if you pass the censure motion, there is no need for the ministers to resign. Very important point. But what about the no confidence motion? Here, if the Lok Sabha passes no confidence motion, then the Council of Ministers are expected to resign because they have lacked the majority of the House. And what majority is required here is the absolute majority, not the simple majority. That means the majority of total membership of the House, whatever the strength of the House is there at that time, that majority is required. As we know in India in general, 272 is considered as a majority mark. So at least 272 members or support of the 272 MPs have to be there to survive this no trust vote. By the way, no confidence motion is also called as no trust vote or trust vote in basic sense. So what rules? Rule 198 of the Lok Sabha, and before 10 AM, that means if you want to initiate the proposal to remove a minister, to have this motion, 10 AM, before 10 AM you have to submit this particular letter. Now Congress led MP Gogoi has actually passed this, has written the letter actually here. So I will show the letter in just a couple of minutes. So in that letter you have to send before 10 AM. They sent I think around 9:20 something, and once the letter is received by the Secretary General, forwarded to the Speaker of the Lok Sabha, and then if the Lok Sabha Speaker accepts that proposal, then what happens basically is there is 10-day window period. Within 10 days the Speaker will be assigning one date, and on that date a debate will happen. So I will just read some of the points here. Before 10 AM you have to submit this notice, and speaker will be reading that notice, and speaker will be given, like, speaker has the option whether to accept or not accept. Very important point again, speaker can accept or not accept this proposal. Once speaker admits this particular proposal, then the speaker will be given 10 days time, and in 10 days he will be giving or allotting a particular date. Usually what happens is the speaker will convene a meeting of the different parties of the house, and he will discuss this proposal with them, and he will be assigning one date, and on that day the debate will happen. So generally speaker has the option to cut short the debate also. It may go on for like hours and hours or days as well. So that is the option before the speaker of the house, Lok Sabha. And finally what happens after this procedure is done, then debate is done. After the debate is over, then the motion is put for vote, and the government has to survive that vote by the magic figure of 272 at least, or depending on the effective strength of Lok Sabha at that time. So if the government does not get the enough amount of 272 MP support, then the government is expected to resign because of lack of confidence. So I am just showing you the letter actually how it goes. Secretary General it is addressed to. Under Rule 198B, Chapter 17 of the Lok Sabha rules, the following motion should be, should be introduced. What is that? I request you to include the motion in the list of business on 26th July. That was yesterday. This house expresses want of confidence in the Council of Ministers as short as possible. The motion is lack of confidence or want of confidence in the house. As you can see clearly, there is no reason mentioned for the adoption of this particular motion. That is the no confidence motion here. Fine. And why only Lok Sabha? Because Lok Sabha is people's house. Majority, absolute majority is required. So what are the past precedents? Was there any time in the history of India where no confidence motion actually brought the fall of the government? The answer is no. I'll tell you why. 27 no confidence motions so far. First time happened in 1963. Acharya Kripalani initiated the proposal of no confidence against the Nehru government in the backdrop of India losing the China war. But of course, Nehru had the majority, and he survived that particular no confidence motion quite smoothly. But Nehru remarked that it is good to have this kind of initiatives or devices in the parliament. At least some good discussion or debate is going to happen. That was Nehru. Fine. So then several times, 27 times it has been passed. Last time the current Modi government has faced this no confidence motion in 2018 when TDP has brought this proposal. Now a question comes here. What is the difference between no confidence motion and confidence motion? So as we know, in India, in our constitution, there is no such rule that a person who is wanted to become the prime minister, the leader of the majority party, need not prove his majority before forming the government. That means after a government is formed, then the president will preferably give some time for the ruling party to prove its majority in the house. So confidence vote or confidence motion means the ruling party, which has just come to power, has to prove the majority on the floor of the house. Generally, if any party gets good majority, they will usually not prove, but within 1 month, usually confidence votes are passed. That means once the confidence vote is passed, once you prove that your government has sufficient majority, that means the president of course have to oblige to every order, every request given by the prime minister heading the Council of Ministers. That means the simple point here is, before forming the government, no need to prove majority, but after forming the government, you have to prove the majority. That is the confidence vote. For example, sometimes your coalition partners may leave, or sometimes your own MPs will leave your party, and your party falls short of the majority mark. At that time also, many prime ministers have sought the vote of confidence. So a lot of confusion among many websites online as well, many teachers as well, that what is the difference between no confidence and confidence motion. So far news goes like this. So far like 3 prime ministers have lost their governments because of no confidence motion. Technically it is not right. Why? I will tell you. So let us see one instance here. Morarji Desai government, first time we are seeing this thing. He was about to lose. A no confidence motion was initiated against him because Janata Party was a big coalition government. Some of the partners were leaving the coalition government, and no confidence motion was proposed by the opposition. In this case, debates were going on in the house, in the parliament, in the Lok Sabha, but there was nothing much concrete proposals happening inside, not much debates coming in a way that is going to consolidate the power of Desai. So in this confusion, what he thought, anyhow he does not have the majority, so he has resigned before the voting happens. That means technically in India till today, no government has lost no confidence motion. Just hold on. Fine, that is one thing. Then what about the other instances of Deve Gowda, VP Singh and Atal Bihari Vajpayee? These were actually votes of confidence, not no confidence. Please don't mix up both of them. So vote of confidence usually happens when a particular government loses the members from their party or their coalition. Let us take the examples here. VP Singh, minority government it was there, BJP was supporting from outside, but BJP withdrew support from VP Singh government. He was heading this Janata Dal government. When BJP has withdrawn the support, that means he no longer has the majority. He proposed the vote of confidence. He proposed the vote of confidence because the majority he has lost. That is not no confidence here. Please understand the difference here. Next one, Deve Gowda 1997 also, Congress party and others, Kesari, they will all withdraw support. Once support is withdrawn, you have to prove that you have majority. So what you will do as Prime Minister, you will be proposing vote of confidence here. So confidence motion he proposed and he lost. Deve Gowda also. Atal Bihari Vajpayee also ran a coalition government, and Jayalalitha, Anna DMK, actually withdraws support from this Vajpayee government. So Vajpayee government falls in minority. Now Vajpayee tries to put a confidence motion that I have majority, he want to prove. But because of one vote, Vajpayee government falls. So in these three examples, it was actually a vote of confidence because of some situations where the coalition partners have left the ruling party. That means when your government falls in minority, you are actually asked to seek the vote of confidence. So technically we can say that no confidence motion in Indian history, so far not a single government has fallen because of no confidence motion. The exception here is Morarji Desai has resigned before the vote actually has gone through. Hope you understood this point. Fine. And then next one, to conclude this particular topic, previous year question 2014. Consider the following statements regarding a no confidence motion in India. There is no mention of no confidence motion in the Constitution of India. And statement B2 is a motion of no confidence can be introduced in the Lok Sabha only. So please give the right option in the comments below, and I will also be giving the right answer by tomorrow. So this is it from today's topic. I will see you again with another topic in the next day. Thank you.